So my story kind of starts out with the Army. I joined the Army when I was 21, went to Iraq once, came back, and realized that I needed to do something with my life. I didn't want to stay in the Army the whole time. It was kind of always a means to an end. What I wanted to do was get a degree, get a family, and live life. That was kind of my plan. So the Army was a way for me to pay for college. So while I was in the Army, I did logistics, worked in a warehouse, liked it, realized I was pretty good at it, and then found out that I can make a little bit of money at it. So that's what I pursued, undergrad in supply chain management. After I graduated, got a decent job, just a normal cubicle type job with Ericsson, did some good things with them. But at the end of 2012, they said, well, your department is no longer needed here in the States. We're going to move you to Mexico. If you don't like to go, then that's cool. Here's your severance. So moved my family back to Austin, where I was born and raised. And I was without a job, had a kid, family, and realized that I needed to do something. I had an opportunity at that point. Didn't have a job, but I did have a good chunk of change in the bank to start my own company. And this is something that I wanted to do my entire life. I was do business, and on my terms, not on somebody else's terms. I'm sure you've heard the quote that if you're not working to fulfill your dreams, you'll be working for somebody else fulfilling their dreams. So that's not something that I wanted to do anymore. I wanted to go work for myself. Having a kid and being a dad who was from the military, carrying something pink, I've got a daughter, wasn't something that I wanted to do. Being in Austin is extremely active. Everybody's always doing something. There's always a festival to go to. I had a need or a problem for a bag that was baby specific that I could take anywhere for long periods of time, and that wasn't pink. So one day I saw my old Army bag sitting next to her diaper bag, and I had the aha moment to combine the two. So what I created was Tactics. Tactics is a modular diaper bag for dads. When I was kind of going through the process of creating a solution for the problem that I had, I started reaching out to anybody and everybody that would listen. First organization or group of people I reached out to were my fellow veterans. Reached out to an organization called Vet Commander that helps veterans get jobs. And in having a conversation with them, I found out about the entrepreneurial boot camp for veterans with disabilities. They have it at 7 universities across the nation, one of them being Texas A&M. Signed up for the program, got into the program. It's a week-long boot camp of try to condense an MBA into a week, and that's kind of what it's like. Our days were 6 a.m. to 1 or 2 a.m. for 7 days. And at the end, you've learned every basic facet of a startup. And then you give your pitch. And you give your pitch to actual investors, angels, VCs, mentors. So it's kind of nerve-wracking there at the end that you've come up with this idea, you've put some legs on it, and now that you're putting it in front of people that have lots and lots of money, and you're going to get a little bit of it. So I got a lot of encouragement, no money at that point, to pursue the idea, because that's all it was at that point, was an idea. So 6 months later, I had learned CAD, bought a 3D printer, and started making prototypes. Got with a whole bunch of manufacturers to produce prototypes for me. So that was in July. By December, I had physical product. Started going around and doing my customer validation to make sure that people want to buy this thing. Got lots of really, really good news back from that. People said that it was an awesome thing. People without kids wanted to buy it. So through the EBV, I also got in touch with an organization called Bunker Labs. And Bunker Labs is kind of based off an accelerator, but they don't take any equity. So it's more or less like a non-profit accelerator. Got on with them and was able to get on with other mentors to teach me more about marketing, to teach me more about social media, finances especially. It was very important to learn. And I kind of learned from all these people already in the industry that were successful, and decided to launch a Kickstarter campaign. So July 1st, we launched our Kickstarter campaign. And, I had a magazine backing me. I had a few bloggers. I checked every box that you're supposed to check to make a Kickstarter successful. Well, at the end of July, 14% funded. I wish it was 140, but it was 14%. So my ego took a little bit of a hit. But it was okay. Failure is something that's extremely common in the entrepreneurial world. So at that point, we'd kind of run out of money, run out of funds to keep it going. Even though we had all this great feedback on people that wanted this product, we didn't have enough people to convert online to turn into customers so that we could pursue this dream. And I keep on saying we, it's really just me. We makes it seem like a bigger company than it is. You'll learn that in marketing. So I'm also an MBA student at St. Ed's. I'll finish up in May, so I'm in the same shoes as many of you. And at this point, I've gone as far as I can go with Tactics with the money that I had. So I'm putting it on the back burner, getting a job, something I didn't want to do, and I'll revisit that. But this is an extremely common story in entrepreneurship. Not everybody is going to make millions of dollars or beat Twitter first time out of the gate. For those guys that do, or those gals that do, that's awesome. But for half of this room, failure is going to come right off the bat. For most of the other half, failure is going to come just a little bit down the road. So only a few of you are going to get those huge, big ideas out there that consumers are going to pick up. Not to dissuade you at all, but just to give you a little bit more of a real-world perspective from what I've experienced. So that's my story, and I kind of wanted to say that a little quickly just to get that out of there and so that you know where I'm coming from. And mainly what I would like to do is get your questions to answer anything that I can, because I don't want to tell you things that you've already heard 5 times. So, are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
How did you go about, marketing and actually being successful? When was the first time you actually, what process did you go through that you started getting a whole bunch of hits?
So the first thing I did was I created a video. I went to a buddy of a buddy who has a production company, and we shot a 2-minute long commercial. And this was going to be the commercial that went on Kickstarter. Through that process, I was given a whole lot of media. Well, not exposure, but just media, pictures and video, so that I could build the Twitter, so that I could build Facebook, so that I could build the website. Because without that professional image, you're just some Etsy shop selling stuff out of your garage. Got the pages up, Twitter and Facebook, and that right there is a selection. So I decided not to go with Instagram because that's not my target demographic. My target demographic were parents, between 25 and 35. Instagram is mainly younger folks who just aren't in my demographic. So not every social media account is something that you should go for. I put a little bit of money into it. Once you start getting into Facebook, you realize that they can suck you dry really quick. But what I did is I tested 4 different copies. So 4 different ads that had different messaging and different pictures to see which one was received the best, so that I could get my cost per click as the lowest possible and my click-through rate as high as possible. So I did that, found out the best picture, and then rolled that in. Put a budget behind it on what I could afford to see what type of metrics I would get back. And that was kind of far into the game after customer discovery and after I had a prototype. But it never really, there wasn't one day where it just blew up, but there were a few days where it charged my credit card more than I liked. Yes, sir.
How did you learn to use a 3D printer, like design and
YouTube.
just watching?
Watching YouTube. Bought it I did my research on which 3D printer to get. Bought the thing, bought the program to make it work, and I bought the CAD program, and a lot of yelling at the screen, trial and error to get to a point to where I can get my head what's on the screen. Just trial and error in YouTube. YouTube can teach you how to do brain science. Yes, sir.
So what would you say is the harder part? Did you have to figure out how to get the cost of goods sold? Like, are you outsourcing the production?
Definitely. I bought a sewing machine up front to try to do this myself. It's a soft goods backpack. It's a Molly backpack it's specifically towards baby stuff. Tried to do it myself at first. I suck really bad at sewing. So through my networks, through the EBV and the Bunker Labs, I was able to find a manufacturer in Bryan, College Station. They cut my prototypes, and then through that, I sent those samples out to different manufacturers across the nation, just Google searches. I found out who's making what I'm making, and will they contract to make what I want. I had 6 different bids come, and it wasn't that difficult. It just took picking up the phone and emailing some people and making sure that they return your calls. Sir.
We started off our icebreaker talking about who we surround ourselves with. Now, do you feel like you got a good inner circle right now that's going to help you out in Greece?
Absolutely. The people that I grew up with, none of them are doing business. They're all doing good things. A couple of airline pilots, some nurses, real estate agents, but none of them are doing what I'm doing. And I wholly believe in surrounding yourself with, the 5 people you surround yourself with are you. So what I surround myself with was my networks, was my entrepreneurial networks, the EBV and Bunker Labs. These are all veterans doing ventures, doing stuff. There's a hurdle that will come in every single one of your entrepreneurial efforts, and that hurdle is gaining the confidence to enact in the real world the idea that you have in your head. You kind of look at Nike, you look at L'Oreal, you look at these giant corporations, and you think that that's what you have to be up front, and it's very daunting. You've got a Gatorade bottle there, Gatorade's huge. They all started out of a garage or one drink at a time. And that's one of my missteps, was I tried to go for the gold right out of the gate. I tried to get 500 units sold first time go, when I should have been looking at 10 units, then 50, then 100. And that's where the customer validation comes in. Because people will tell you all day long, oh, that's awesome, I'm going to buy it. But until they put money down, it's not validated. Yes, sir.
Which do you think was harder, going through Army boot camp or trying to start your own business?
Boot camp was fun. They let you shoot guns and throw grenades and climb stuff, and boot camp was great. Iraq was a lot more difficult. But starting your own business, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. There are so many new things that you have to learn and be an expert in instantly. The saying goes, you don't know what you don't know. That becomes real apparent once you start doing whatever it is you're doing. And every industry is different. It's difficult, I'm not going to lie, but it is worth it. In finance, the more risk you take, the more reward that you're going to get, and that's no more true in entrepreneurship than anything else. Yes, sir.
How difficult was it for you to convince investors to invest in your company?
That was weird. And I say that because I did my pitch for Bunker Labs the opening night. There's about 10 other companies. A week later, I had a VC that wanted to purchase 80% of the company. I was like, this is weird because this shouldn't be coming for years. And then after that, I couldn't convince even angels to loan me money. And so what I found out, and it's difficult and it takes a lot of finesse, but what you need to convince people of is that you have something others want to give you money for. And because I didn't have any money coming in, I didn't have that last stage of market validation, that was where it was really difficult to convince an investor to give me money. Because what investors want to do is they want to give you money to make you make more money. But if you're not making any, that's really hard to do. I mean, there are websites and there are apps that get acquired before they even have a revenue model. But I think the product space is a lot more difficult because the addressable market is a lot lower. So I don't have a great answer for you on how to do that because I quite haven't figured it out. So.
What is the best advice you think you received from your mentorship?
Ooh, I remember this one often. Take as much time as you can to make a decision. Weigh as many options as you can. Get as much counsel as you can. Take as much time for you to digest that information personally as you can to make a decision. You know, you don't have to make it right then and there unless you have to make it right then and there.
What is your 5-year plan for this product? What's the next step?
5 years is long. I hadn't even gotten past 3. My plans were 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. 3-month plan at the end of, so I go through the plan before the failed Kickstarter. So if the Kickstarter were to succeed, we'd go into manufacturing. We would, within 3 months, send out and fulfill all of those people that pre-ordered. At that point, that would be market validation, and we would get either loans or angel money. It's, you know, you kind of have to assess your specific situation on which one to go with. Then after 6 months, we were going to take on Austin, Chicago, Seattle, New York, and LA. Those are the markets that we were going to focus in because those are large markets with large addressable populations and populations that are extremely active and large parent populations. So we're going to focus in those areas, and then 12 months, we were just going to scale the business up to that point. Do a little bit more on development of the product line. So think, I guess I didn't explain the product all that great. So think of a backpack with external pouches on it that you can take off and put on to fit your family's specific adventures. These pouches were for baby wipes, you know, insulated for bottles. They were cargo pouches of all different sizes, pacifier pouch. That's the layout for the diaper bag. But then you have a layout for somebody that cycles or somebody that has lenses for cameras. So we were just going to expand all the different ways that you can take this bag from just a bag and adapt it to your specific, you know, activity. Yes, sir.
Would you say that you put the same amount of work ethic into a small task as a large task in regards to your business or product?
No. You have in front of you more work than you can possibly do in a 24-hour period. So you have to delegate what gets done, like what gets done right now, what gets done tonight, what gets done tomorrow, and what are some tasks that I just can't do. And maybe it gets done next week if I have time. The same work ethic, definitely. I need to get everything done. And I want to get everything done to 100% standard, and I need to get everything done to make the business move forward. But there's too much to do, especially for one person. That was another misstep that I had, is I tried to do all of this alone. I would definitely recommend that you do this with a team, that you find a couple of other individuals, like-minded, that are just as ambitious as you are, and then believe in the cause or problem that you're solving to do this with. Because you'll find if you do this alone, it's going to eat your lunch. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering, how did you go about finding your, like, you said you can't do it alone. How did you go about finding different people to do different tasks
Outsourcing is pretty easy. You Google any task, there's going to be a company that will do it for you at a price. I didn't have enough money to outsource a lot of it, so I did it myself. And that's where YouTube really came in handy, especially learning Photoshop to make professional graphics for the website, to change different graphics for Facebook and Twitter pages as we were launching, and midway through launches, different stages of the marketing message. So I did a lot of it myself, and where I would look for co-founders would be entrepreneurial networks, like right here in this class, or if you're in a nonprofit entrepreneurial setting, find a network that does exactly what you're doing. Meetup is an app, but it's also a website. Highly recommend that. You'll be able to find any meetup for any situation. Whether it's people that like grass, or people that like to cook, or entrepreneurs that like to do exactly what you're doing. So whatever it is that you want to pursue, find a group that's doing it, and most likely you'll find somebody that wants to do the same things that you want to do as far as pursuing that venture. Yes, sir.
Do you have a specific morning routine?
I do. So a lot of my organization, I use my phone. I use alarms to tell me when I need to eat. I use alarms to tell me when I need to drop my daughter off from school, pick her up from school. I use scheduling to tell me exactly what tasks I need to do for that day. So I wake up, do my morning routine. I'm not going to speak of. Drop my daughter off at school, get home, and it's immediately I have a list. And I just use Excel. And I sort the list on what I need to do that day. What are the top 2 or 3 things that have to get done? Then what are the next couple of things that would be cool if I got done? And then what are the next couple of things that do I want to get a hit on the next day? So prioritization is huge. Like I said earlier, you're going to have way more than you can handle, especially if you're trying to do a venture while you're going to school. It's a lot to keep tabs on.
I was gonna ask, so I know the design is like the Army, but do you also have like the Navy and Air Force?
What I did was 3 colors. I did tan. It's like an army green. It's kind of the newer green. It's kind of a gray, and black. And so black covers the Navy, and I couldn't do blue. Blue was too much of a specific color to represent the Air Force. But that was actually a design change that we're moving away from. So one of the pieces of feedback that I got from Facebook and from kind of processing all the metrics after Kickstarter was that I kind of pigeonholed myself on the design, and that reduced my addressable market significantly because it was only dads that liked military stuff. I kind of cut out all the outdoors type people. So softening the design from a military design towards a outdoor design opened me up to a lot more potential customers.
Like Cabela?
Exactly. Going from Banana Bay is a Army surplus store in Austin. Going from Banana Bay to Cabela's or REI did a lot. And listen to your customers. They'll tell you exactly what they want. Just do what they want and they'll buy it. Yes, sir.
Well, I think you are providing like a real unique perspective of like, not every venture is going to succeed right off the bat. And he's right, half of us, it might even be more than that.
That was statistics. Definitely not trying to dissuade anybody from pursuing stuff. You should do it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah. And I was just, and then the other half don't even try. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even go for it. But I was just gonna ask, what's in you to not give up? You said you're gonna, get a regular job, but it doesn't sound like you've done it.
Oh no, I'm far from done.
What's in you?
A lot of this is just inherent. My type of personality, I'm extremely competitive. If you're playing football and you get knocked down the first play, what do? You get back up and knock them down the second play.
Yes, sir.
So that was fostered while I was in the military. You know, if you get your leg blown off, you can still scoot with the other leg. If you get that leg blown off, you can still crawl with your arms. You get your arms, or you got one finger left, you can still pull a trigger. So the mindset is that you can always engage. And I'm not saying, do anything violent. Well, the mindset is that this is a competition. Entrepreneurship is a competition. And it's you against the consumers. And it's not you against the other actual competition. But it's you convincing somebody that your solution is the best solution for their problem. And so my first time out of the gate, this is my first venture, it didn't 100% fail, but it didn't succeed. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I've talked to tons of VCs that tell me I'm this close to making it a really good venture. But it's that last 10% that I'm kind of having to step back from, learn what I did wrong, and move forward with. You will learn 10 times the amount of lessons from failed ventures than you will from ventures that succeeded. There are a lot of ventures that are billion-dollar companies that were just, we don't know what we did, but we did something right, so we're just going to keep on doing it. But from the failures in your life, and this is more than just entrepreneurship, but just life in general, you will learn way more from failures than you will from what you have succeeded on. Yes, sir.
Are you like 100% behind, I guess, the creation of the product and like trying to sell the product, or have you thought about like trying to sell the idea to someone like a JanSport and get like a Tactics line or something like that, or are you really just trying to keep it in-house?
If you would have asked me that question 6 months ago, I'd have said, I'm doing it and I'm going to conquer the world. After having learned what goes into making a business successful and what I personally can succeed at and maybe I'm bad at, I'm definitely toying with the notion of selling rights to somebody else that will make it. But that in and of itself is another, a whole other ballgame. Intellectual property is difficult. Just because you have a patent on something doesn't mean that you have control over that realm. The kind of, the idiom for patents are only as good as your ability to defend them. John Oliver has got a really good segment on patent trolls. He speaks a lot of truth to what it's like having a patent. And then you have the international realm of patents. So I have a textile good which would be really good to manufacture in China or in Mexico because the labor is really cheap. But that's not going to stop them from making knockoffs of the product,
Right.
And even selling them over here.
And if they already have a broader market than you do,
If they already have a distribution network set up, and boom, we can get 10,000 out before you can get one. Well, what money do I have to go to the courts and tell them to stop? From what I've gathered, it's a couple $100,000 just to start the execution of a patent in litigation. There's a lot of money that goes around that, and I don't have a couple $100,000 to not put towards the business, but to tie it up in the courts. So it's a difficult ball game, but it's one that can be won. So definitely don't not get intellectual property. But yeah, selling the rights to somebody is definitely on the table. Yes, sir.
So what's next in the Rodney Curry story?
Getting a job, getting some positive cash flow, graduating college first, just getting that not off my plate, but getting that completed and done, so that I can move forward with looking at tactics with a little bit more room, a little bit more time to do that. And then, I don't know, I've already got another few ideas bouncing around in my head of things to pursue, but my competitive juices just can't let tactics go the way it went. But maybe it's good that I let it go.
We'll take like a few more questions and then we'll wrap it up. Anybody?
So, what was your one of your
main reasons as to why you wanted to get your master's?
It was my backup plan. I've got a wife, and I told her, hey, I want to take our life savings and gamble it. And she said, well, that's a little hard to digest right now. You need to have a plan for if this doesn't work. She knew the statistics of startups just as well as I did. She said, that's fine, but you need to have a backup plan because you've got a daughter and you've got a marriage. So, this is first, business is second. So getting the MBA was a backup plan for if that didn't work out, I've got a career to fall back on. Sir.
And so your key to success may be comprised of like anything such as communication, like I said, work ethic, or punctuality, whatever. But if you had to pick one of those things, what would be the most important?
Communication. Communication is always the most important in any business aspect, any business venture, hands down. If you're not communicating with your customers your value proposition correctly, then they're not going to purchase from you. If you're not communicating with manufacturers or with developers, then you're not going to get what it is inside your head. Communication is definitely the most important, and everything's built on that. Yes, sir.
Did you find any unique kind of cheats or just something that the average person wouldn't know about when you were advertising online or whatever channels you were using to reach out to your customers? Are there any tips you learned along the way?
Not really. Not that a Google search wouldn't tell you. I didn't discover, a holy grail or anything as far as getting through to my target market. It's social media, social media marketing is a whole ball game all by itself.
What do you use? You just have pictures of a model holding them and just
Do you want better?
One to three. I can announce.
So this is the website, and what you see is the product. Most diaper bags aren't built to keep up with you. You're dealing with broken zippers, a severe lack of organization so things are hard to reach. They're not designed to be carried for long periods of time or long distances. I wanted to create a bag that would outlast a toddler's babyhood and that you could use for a significantly longer amount of time. TXST diaper bags are one of the most rugged ever manufactured. Built with the same durable, water-resistant materials we use to outfit our soldiers, they'll enable you to become a tactical parent. TXST modules are pouches you can attach to the outside of the bag to load up things like baby bottles, wipes, pacifiers, toys, sippy cups, you name it. They make those things easily accessible, and they're rugged enough to withstand almost anything an adventurous parent can put them through. To attach an additional pouch, thread the clip through the mesh netting. That pouch isn't going anywhere. As an Army veteran, we use this technology day in and day out. And once I saw my bag sitting next to my daughter's old diaper bag, it just made sense to combine the two. It's tough, it's durable, we trust it in combat, you should have no problem trusting it with your kids. If you're on a hike, you don't have to stop what you're doing and dig around in the bag. Everything's right there. And for you frequent flyers out there, we designed the bag to fit just about every carry-on luggage standard out there. My goal would be that you use this as a diaper bag, but you find it so useful that it becomes a kid's backpack on their first day of school. We designed it to last that long. All right, everybody. We need your help to get Tactics to the next stage. Now, with your backing, we'll be able to drive down manufacturing costs and offer our modular diaper bag at an affordable price. So please, back our campaign and let us ship you the last diaper bag you will ever have to buy.
Hey, y'all give it up. Now, see, I really like the perspective you brought to us. I mean, it's not easy. I think a lot of guys make it look easy. Michael Jordan had a commercial a few years ago. He's talking about him in a game. He's like, did I make it look too easy? You know, he's like, do I make it look like it's effortless? Y'all don't see me in the gym every day. Y'all don't see me in the weight room every day. Y'all don't see that. You don't see him fail. You don't see how many shots he missed and stuff like that. It's just, you get this perspective now. So when you get out there in the real world, you're not just like, hey, I'm your work. You know, you may jump for a goal, fall, scrape your knee, but put some dirt in it, get back up and try again.